Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gab and Glow podcast. I'm your host, Gigi. Um, oop, we have a very episode. We have a very special episode today. Lots happening, lots of exciting things to talk about. Um, Before I dive into everything and all the sappy good stuff, I did have to discuss Love Island. Obviously, we've had a week of Love Island already, season 7, and I have a lot of thoughts, so I wanted to discuss that before we get into like our main topic of today. So yeah, Love Island thoughts so far. Just so you know, this is being recorded on Monday, and I haven't watched episode 6 yet. So keep that in mind. So first off, we have to talk about we have to talk about Beldasha, because what do you mean that is your name? Why are you spelling your name like that? I don't understand. There's like no universe that Bella should be spelled Belle dash A. That's just not, that just can't be, that just can't be. I hate it. And it just cracks me up. And so I was talking to Russell, and I was just talking about her, and I was like, yeah, Beldasha, whatever. And he's like, Beldasha. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it looks like her name. That's what her name looks like. So that's what I'm going to call her, since she wants to be weird about the way she spells her name. And I'm thinking I'm like so original with this joke. Like, I think I'm so funny, hysterical. And then I go, we're watching like a couple more episodes in, and then Nick is like going up to her, and he's like, Beldasha. And I was like, wait, rewind that, because I thought I like misheard it or something. So I made him rewind it, and sure enough, he said it. So I was like, wait, Nick stole my joke. And then I'm on TikTok, and everyone is calling her Beldasha, and I'm like, damn. So I just like have never had an original thought. And I'm also thinking, like, when I did have this thought, I should have made a TikTok, because now everyone's making TikToks and going viral and having thousands of likes, thousands of views. And it's like, I should just, I should just share my shit. When I think something's funny, I should just say it, because what happens is other people say it, and then it looks like I'm copying them. But yeah, so Beldasha. She seems sweet. She seems nice. I want to like her as a person, and I think I do. The problem is this this is Love Island. There are literally like 1,000 challenges where you kiss people, and there's also just like that. I feel like kissing is a big part of like figuring out if you have chemistry with someone or not. And I feel like if a guy's between you and someone else, and he's kissed that other girl and he hasn't kissed you, I feel like 9 times out of 10 it's just like, at least on Love Island, like you're just like not gonna have a fighting chance, because like you only have so much time in Love Island, and like they have to like make a decision kind of quickly. And so they're gonna go with like the connection that feels the most progressed. And I feel like kissing's a big part of that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong for that, but that's how I feel. Let me know. Let me know if you guys think it's weird. I just feel like Love Island is like not the show for her. I feel like there's a show. Isn't there a show called like, maybe it's called Too Hot to Handle or something like that? But isn't it like you're not supposed to touch at all or like kiss, and if you do, you're like, ooh, excuse me, you're like kicked out or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up, but I thought that was like the premise of a show. But I feel like that's the type of show she should go on if she doesn't want to like be kissing people like that. That being said, I was super shocked when she just randomly decided to like go in for the kiss in the challenge, because I was really like, I was thinking like, how the heck is she gonna do this challenge? Like you have to make out with like 4 people, and like what's she gonna do? Like she's either just gonna come off as like, this feels like so mean, but like just like the biggest prude if she doesn't kiss them, but like, and then like if she doesn't, it's kind of like, How come she just decided just now? So yeah, so I was like super shocked when she was like, yeah, I'm gonna kiss the boy. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I really thought that she would have like kissed Nick. I was hoping she was gonna be close to kissing Nick soon because I think that was the only way she was gonna have like a fighting chance to like be a thing with him against Sierra. But yeah, interesting. It's interesting. And then yeah, so then once she had made out with Nick in the challenge, and then they kissed outside the challenge, and now like she seems back in the running a little bit, but I feel like the damage has already been done in the sense that like him and Sierra just seem like they have like such a farther along like connection. Not only like the kids, but I just feel like they can talk. Like I feel like they talk more. They have a little bit more like banter, and I just feel like, but Baldasha's just like never saying words. Like I mean, she's saying words, but like I feel like they don't make like sentences that make sense. Like it always just seems like she's just saying whatever the fuck comes to mind, and it just doesn't even have to like just whatever vocal stem is like coming to mind at the time or something. I don't know. She's an interesting character, and I really do feel like I feel bad, but I just feel like Love Island is just not the place for her, in my opinion. And then just since we're on the topic of Beldasha, let's just move on to my thoughts on Nick. So Nick, I think he's cute. He's a cutie. I really like that he's an RN. I think like one that means that he's gotta be obviously educated and like intelligent. Um, hopefully has like an empathy for people since he is an RN and his job is to take care of people. Um, so he seems like a nice guy. I just think it's so he's just so like yeah, I mean, because I guess like he obviously is like having a hard time making up his mind between Sierra and Baldasha, but I just think it's so funny how, like I mean at least he's honest, but it's just so funny how he's just like telling everyone like yeah, um, it was like 80 Sierra, 20 Valdasha, and then after like the challenge and the kiss, now it's back to 50-50, and they're all like jumping around. All the guys are just like jumping around, getting so excited because he said 50-50, and I'm just like, you guys are so silly. You guys are so silly. Everyone's so excited about him being back to 50-50. Is so funny. Um, that being said, I've been staring at him, staring into his soul, trying to figure out who he looks like, who he reminds me of. And I've come to the conclusion because I have been watching White Lotus recently, season 3. We still have not finished it. Oh my gosh. Tess and I really need to get on this. I think we probably have like a couple episodes left, so hopefully we'll be done with it soon. But I realized that I think he looks like a young Walton Goggins. Like they have the same like mouth area. And I mean, obviously they both have like like darker brown hair. They have like light eyes, and they have just a like a massive gummy smile. Like yeah, so I finally realized like that's who he reminds me of, is Walton Goggins, and I just think that's so funny because I wonder if that's like intentional, because I know that Walton Goggins is kind of like an it guy right now and everyone's like geeking and gagged over him. So maybe the casting producers were like intentional about that. Like, oh, people are loving Walton Goggins. Let's get this Walton Goggins looking ass on the show. Like, yeah. Also, just in the same vein of people, I want to chat about the love triangle again going on between Nick Baldasha and Sierra, because I really feel like I mean, maybe it's genuine, maybe it's all like very organic, but I almost feel like they're trying to go for a Rob, Leah, Andrea situation to try to like almost like solidify their standing as like in people's minds and just yeah, I feel like some of the tropes that are going on right now feel very manufactured, and I'll get into that thought a little bit more, but I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Wanted to see if anyone else is getting those same vibes. Do you feel like they're really trying to create that Rob, Leah, Andrea effect that happened last season? Let me know in the comments. I also just wanted to talk about just the whole thing, like with Huda, shoulda, Huda, yeah. With that's whenever I say it wrong, I have to say shoulda, and then I got it. Huda. Um, so yeah, just like Huda being a mom and just like really wanting to keep it such a secret, and like I get wanting to make sure someone's serious about you before introducing them to your kid, but I don't think that I don't think that that's information you should sit on until you know that someone's like invested in you, because then like we at that point like sometimes that is a deal breaker for people, but if they're so invested in the situation already and like they they like you so much, but like maybe they are not like mature enough to be a parent, or they are just like in a time of their life where they're just like not selfless enough, or like they don't want to be as selfless as like you kind of need to be a parent, especially like a step parent. I think being a step parent is extremely difficult. I mean, I think it can be very rewarding, but I think it's also very difficult. And just like I think not some people just don't want that for themselves, and I think that's okay. And so I think hiding it from him for that long, I just felt like was weird. And like the way like I get like not wanting to just like make it a whole thing and like sitting him down and be like, okay, like we're really new, but this is the situation. But I think like when it comes up naturally in conversation, I think like the skirting around it and being weird about it is just like weird. And I don't know, maybe that's just me because I'm not a parent, so like I don't fully understand the thoughts, but I do know other people who are parents. I know I'm a child of divorced parents, so obviously my parents were dating. As I was like growing up or whatever. So I feel like I have a general idea. And I feel like if I was out and dating, I think personally I don't think I'd have a problem with being a step parent. However, I would be upset if I had been spending 24/7 with a guy and I was like falling for him and whatever, and then he's had multiple chances to tell me, it's came up multiple times organically in conversation, and he still like skirted around it. It was being weird, and then like dropped it on me when I was already invested. I would be like, okay, I feel like that's kind of rude. I always get so many spam calls. Like that would just make me feel like I can't trust you. I don't know. I just felt like it was weird. So obviously love that she's a mom. I think that's great. And I totally respect like wanting to make sure someone's serious before you introduce them to your child. But I think just when they're talking about their housing situation, she's like, yeah, I have 2 bedrooms. And he's like, oh, like what's the extra bedroom for or whatever? And she's like, not yet. Like it's just say it then. Like it's like you want the way she was going about it just felt really sneaky, and it was just really bothering me, and I didn't really like it. I do like I like her. I think she's gorge, and she seems like a sweet girl, but I just didn't like that. I just thought it was weird. Um Also, the song choices around the whole Sierra, or not Sierra, the song choices between the whole like Huda and Jeremiah chat about Huda being a mom was so funny because they're so like on point and hysterical. Um they're she says, she goes, I'm a mom, and he goes, what? And then the music's like, I can't do this anymore. Everything is changing. Like, what? And then I forget what the next song was, but it was like at the beginning of the next episode. That one was also, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. That one was also so funny, just like um how on point it was with like the way it landed in the conversation, like the wording of the song was just so funny. I just love how Love Island does that. It's actually one of the best things about it. It's so funny. Um that being said, when they're talking about it, and I didn't like okay, so from the beginning, I was really charmed by Jeremiah. I think he's like a stunning man. He looks exactly like Shamar Moore from Criminal Minds, and I love Shamar Moore. Um, However, I really got the ick when he, like, instead of saying if, like, he could have said if we have a future, or like if this goes somewhere, if we have a future outside of the villa, if this, that, whatever. But he says if we win this thing, when he's talking about like potentially maybe like being with Huda and like being with meeting her daughter and all that, like outside the villa. And but it's weird that he said if we win this. I feel like that was really like, oh, now I feel like you're just like in it for the fame, for sure, for sure. But I think the problem is right now, I don't know, I'm hoping that the season will like loosen up a little bit, but I feel like right now I think everyone is in there just for fame, and I'll get to like kind of that thought as well. But I kind of want to just go through like some of my thoughts on like everyone real quick. um Ace is so funny how like he's like Jeremiah's biggest hater, and like he wants to like expose him so bad. He wants to snatch up whatever from him. He wants to just, I don't know, he feels almost like he, in his mind, he's like the Kendrick and Drake beef. I feel like that's the kind of like story that's playing out in his mind. It was just so funny how he's sitting there like just sitting at the bar talking. I think he was talking to Taylor, maybe, or maybe it was like, I can't remember who, but he was just like just basically like dogging on Jeremiah, and it was just so funny because I was like, oh my god, he's like the biggest hater. It's hysterical. So yeah, I think he's just so funny, and he's just like he's a little bit of a, he's messy. Ace is messy. It kills me how he literally has like Ace so big as a tattoo on his back, and then he has like an Ace like card on his shoulder, and I think it's so funny because I'm like, okay, like, you like a narcissist or what? I feel like right now, gun to my head, I would have to say like probably my favorite couple in the villa right now is Taylor and Alondria. I really like them together. I think that they seem like very well suited for each other, and I really like their dynamic and their vibes together. I can see them being like a couple for the long run. But also in this same breath, I do feel like, and this is kind of what I'm saying, is just like I feel like this season feels very manufactured, and I feel like the people going into this season really like are trying to recreate what happened in season 6 for themselves, and it's just feeling very like, I don't know, like I'm like very wary of it because it just kind of it's all feeling a little bit like orchestrated and ingenuine. So I'm not sure if like I'm worried that they're just trying to be like the um Cordell and Serena of the season, which, you know, if it's genuine, like I would love them to be that. And like I think that they are like a great couple from what I've seen so far. But I'm just a little bit wary of everyone right now because I am feeling that like vibe of just like everyone's in there for the fame. Um, so yeah, Austin, Austin is just so boring. Like every time he talk, like I really try to sit there and pay attention when he's talking because I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm just tuning him out. Maybe he's not that bad. Like I'm trying to be like, okay, if I was a girl in a situation, like would I be like into him with what he's saying? And I'm like listening to him speak, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so boring. Like he has no chat at all, no riz, just droning on about who knows what all the time. And I just feel bad for him because I just don't feel like he has. It's weird because I think he would have a better chance if he wasn't such a fuckboy. Because like for example, like I feel like when you're awkward but you're also like sweet and innocent, I think like while you can get friend zoned a lot, I think like also America will take pity on you. People in the villa will take pity on you because they just like love you. They think you're the sweetest, whatever. Like I feel like they kind of like the Bergie effect. Like you know how like, Bergie was like didn't have any real matches all the way. I mean, he had like Carmen as a thing, but I think Carmen was just kind of entertaining it to be nice. I don't think she was actually like as into him as she was like pretending to be. Though I do wish. Actually, no, I don't wish. No, I don't wish this because I love Bergie and Taylor, but I almost like I wonder what life would have been like if um was his name Enzo? Why do I want to call him Enzo? Carmen's guy that she ended up with that she like dated for a little bit and then like I think he like cheated on her or something like that or they broke up. Um but like he ended up screwing her over and it's like what if she went with Bergie instead of him, but whatever, she missed her chance because he's been with Taylor ever since they met at Casa Amor on their season and I love them. I really love everyone from season 5 and I love everyone from season 6. I feel like those were the last two like those were like the really good seasons. I think those are going to be like the glory days of Love Island US and I do think because of the virality of season 6, I feel like that really just screwed with the dynamics of season 7 because now I feel like everyone is way more like self-aware and playing to the public, pandering to the public as opposed to just like being in there and doing their thing and just like being on their like knowing they're on reality TV but like kind of forgetting about it and just doing their thing. I feel like because like it was so um season 6 was so heavily covered in like media mainstream media more than the other seasons that I feel like now season 7 there's a weird dynamic going on because of the success of season 6 and also because of that I've noticed that there's a lot of people like coming out of like the woodwork and like exposing all the islanders on TikTok and I think that also is just gonna make for the show to go downhill as well because I feel like it's just gonna be hard now because I feel like we're not just gonna be able to like enjoy the show and like see it for like what the show is like we're seeing. And I know we like the behind the scenes and things like that, but it's like I don't know. You know, like I mean, I get it. I get it from both sides. I think it's also it's interesting to know kind of like behind the scenes and what people were doing before they were on the show and like all that. But like also at the same time, it's like they came on this show. They're trying to entertain us. Like let's just let them entertain us. Let's not like immediately try to tear them down for clout just because like you knew them and now they're on TV. I don't know. I just feel like there's just so much things like going on with that. But yeah, I just feel like because of these things, I feel like season 7's just off. Like the energy is just off. Um I know I went on a whole tangent, but just going back to like the Austin thing. I just feel like yeah, he's not innocent enough to get the Bergie effect. So like he's still like I feel like he's not gonna last long because he's a fuckboy on top of the fact that he's just like boring and like can't connect very well. And I almost feel like he's kind of giving I think Connor kind of had that similar issue last season where like, you know, he was good looking, but just the personality was just really like lacking and like he was just like awkward and probably like nervous and all those things. And I just think that it really showed through like during his conversations and things like that. And that's what kind of kept him from creating a connection. And so I think Austin is struggling with a similar issue. Yeah, I think really the only person that I really, really like this season and feel like they are genuine and I can trust them is Shelly. I really like her and I also really like the story like between her and Ace and like that they met like outside of a club in New York and like now they're just like randomly back in here together. It's like invisible string theory and I'm just like because did the producers know that? How could they have known that unless they like planned on both? Unless they were both like, let's apply to Love Island and let's put on that we know each other because then they'll definitely cast us because then there's like a connection from outside. Because I feel like otherwise it's like, how would they have known that it's either a total coincidence or they planned that? Because if you really think about it, like how could what could the producers ask to like get that right answer, you know, unless it's like list every single person you ever dated and known. Maybe it is like that. I don't know. I've never seen the application. If you've ever applied to Love Island, please comment. Let me know what the application process is like and like what kind of questions you're answering. Let me know if this is something that the producers could have orchestrated or if it was organic or if you think that they might have like orchestrated it themselves. What else? What else do we want to talk about? Again, like I feel like the people that I'm least wary about is Shelly, and then I would say after that, Taylor and Alondria. I feel like they're genuine people, but then in that same breath, like, you know, like I was saying about people exposing people on TikTok, I saw one girl, she got a message from she's saying that it was Taylor. She's like everyone's favorite cowboy, and apparently it's like, oh, they last minute like asked me to go on Love Island. Like I'm gonna go because I can't pass up this opportunity, but I'm coming back for you or whatever. So it's like, okay, so if he makes a connection in here, is it fake? Or, you know, is he actually making a connection and was he just telling that girl that to like soften the blow? You know, you don't know. So it's just like yeah, I just feel like these kind of things are like kind of ruining the illusion and making me very like cynical. But then also I just feel like I don't know, there's just the vibes are off. The vibes are off. I don't know what it is and I'm hoping that like I don't know if the ice just needs to melt a little bit. We need to break the ice or something. Everyone's just a little bit awkward and like worried about their public image because they know that this season's like probably like all eyes on this season hoping that it's just as good as last season. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I'm excited. You know, I haven't watched the most recent episode 6, so I know some people are voted off and all that. So we'll have to see how it goes. I know there's some people I didn't really talk about the bombshells. I only talked about like the OGs. Sierra, I really like her. I think she's beautiful. I think she's fun, and I think I like her for Nick way more than Beldasha, to be honest. I feel like Charlie and Hannah, I think her name is. I feel like they're almost going for like a Kayla and Aaron of this season. That's why it's just I really feel like people are really trying to like recreate the dynamics that were successful for people last season, and it just feels weird. But let me know if I'm like off on any of these. Like maybe I'm just like really reading too much into it and like projecting my thoughts on it. Maybe it is seeming organic to everyone but me. So yeah, definitely let me know. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts on that. And then Amaya, she's gorgeous, but there's something that's just, I don't know. I've got my eye on her. She just seems a little messy. All right. Well, yeah, I was gonna say that's Gavin Glow for today. Just kidding. That's all my Love Island thoughts so far. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll just do like a full episode like towards the end, maybe like halfway through the season and then towards the end, or maybe I just do like weekly check-ins. I'll decide. Let me know what you guys would prefer though. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about today, the last life update for today, is that today, this episode is Gavin Glow's birthday. Happy birthday, Gavin Glow. 1 year anniversary of Gavin Glow. I started this podcast on my 26th birthday, and I just turned 27. So Gavin Glow is officially a year old, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has supported me over this year. I hope that you're enjoying the progression of the podcast. I really hope that all the changes that we made have just really made the viewing and listening experience better for everyone. And I'm just really excited to see where I go from here, honestly. I'm having a really great time doing this, and it's rewarding. It's like soul cleansing. It's great. I love it. It's a lot of hard work, and it does take up a lot of my free time, but I do love it so much, and so I'm so grateful for this opportunity and for everyone who has been supporting me this past year. And I just can't wait to see where we go from here. I definitely, with this next year, I want to do more listener stories. So please start sending me in just like any crazy stories you're interested in sharing, because then I can kind of start like putting them into groups and doing like different like topics. Please keep an eye out on the Instagram as well, because I'll be doing like question boxes in the stories that you can respond to with a story you want to share on whatever topic I'm going to do that week. So I'm really excited about that, and I want to do more deep dives of just like people that I'm interested in and that kind of inspire me, or just that I'm curious about. I'm always curious about, what people's backgrounds are like, where they've came from, and just like kind of how they've gotten to where they are now. So I definitely want to do some more of that as well, as like a recurring thing that we do. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming up. So stay tuned, and thanks for, gabbing with us and glowing with us this past year. So just like our first episode, what we're going to do today on today's anniversary episode is just chat about my 27th birthday, talk about how I've celebrated it, talk about what I've learned in my 26th year, and what I'm looking forward to doing in my 27th year. So yeah, we'll just hop right into that. I'm really excited to just kind of share everything that I've been thinking about when it comes to this topic. I put like a lot of heart and soul into this episode, so I do hope that you enjoy it. And as I'm going through, if there's something that you relate to, please don't forget to comment, share your story with me. I just love to hear from you guys, and just know that what I'm saying is resonating or helping people. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So first thing I kind of wanted to talk about is that this year is the first year that I wasn't depressed about my birthday. I feel like, and I'm trying to think of when it started because it couldn't have been when I was like a child or anything, but I want to say turning 18 and after, I want to say. I feel like every birthday I was normally like really depressed and really stressed about my birthday, just really worried about getting older and just thinking about all the things I haven't done yet and what I wanted to do by the time I was this age, and just really stressing and pressed about the plan that I created for myself in my brain, as far as, when what year I'd get married, what year I'd have kids, when I would have a house, this, that, whatever. Um, and I feel like this past year, I think I've worked very hard on just kind of like letting those expectations go. And so I think when this birthday rolled around, I think this is like one of my first birthdays in my adult life. I'm sure I wasn't feeling this dread when I was like in high school and things like that. Not that I can remember. So I'll say this is the first time in my adult life that I feel like I'm not stressed about my birthday, that I'm not feeling depressed about my birthday, and I'm actually feeling really good about my birthday. So I think that's just that's really exciting and comforting to me, because one, that's that right there is like a testament to like my mental growth and my like emotional maturity to me. Because like when I tell you that I just used to completely crash out about, not being a mom yet, or not being married yet, or not being engaged yet, or whatever it was. um it was really affecting me. It really just was bringing me down, and it kept me from enjoying my life. And I think like I finally like let go of all those expectations and am just kind of letting life happen and enjoying it for what it is. Um so that just feels really good. So that kind of goes into kind of the things that I learned in 26 that I want, or like in my 26th year that I wanted to talk about, is just like, I feel like I've learned that there's literally no rush. Um, and life is going to happen as it happens. And, you can't, like, you can have a general like idea of the things that you want in life, but it's dangerous to give yourself like expiration dates on these like life milestones, because then it really makes you like you're so focused on that and like what you're missing that you thought you'd have, that you can't even see all the great things that you have that you never even like thought to think about, and or like to plan. And so when you really like stop thinking about, you know this imaginary timeline that you've created for yourself in your head, and just kind of live your life and enjoy it and let things come as they may, and be happy and grateful in just the season that you're in. I think it really helps, and it really just changes that like perspective on life and on getting older. Like, getting older then feels like a gift and not like a death sentence, I feel like, for me, because of this like mental work that I've been doing. So um I will say that this is like the first year that I'm not like pressed to have babies. I feel like, um and you could ask Russell, I used to literally cry like every weekend about the fact that like we or because obviously like we were just dating, we had pretty much like just gotten together, because obviously this was like a couple years ago, and I was just like, always crying because I was stressed about the fact that, I was so close to those like ages that I was expecting to be like married and having kids, and like I was it's very clear, it was getting very clear to me that like those things were not going to be happening by like the imaginary timeline that I've given myself. And that was making me feel really shitty. That was making me feel like I was like failing at my life, and I would it was starting to feel like I would never get those things. And it was just like a strain on my life. It really made me just not enjoy life. That was like all I could think about is just the things that I was missing and the things that like weren't happening for me. And I wasn't taking the time to just like enjoy the time that I was in right in at that moment and like smell the roses and just be. And it made me very unhappy. And it really wasn't until I was able to let go of those expectations, realize that I am nowhere near mentally ready to raise a child because I clearly still have my own shit to work out. And um, I'm sure it'll happen. And when it does, it'll be great. And I think like at that point, I'll be ready for it. But I know that, there's no need to rush into things and put pressure on myself to have things by a certain time. And, I think it was hard for me for a while because, you do get to that age where you see people that you went to high school with, elementary school with, middle school with, getting married, having kids, all those things. And, that comparison can really haunt you. And, comparison is the thief of happiness. I do believe that. And it can be very hard. And I think you just have to make that conscious decision to just be like, to just let go of the expectations and really stop, smell the roses, take inventory of the amazing things in your life, and hold on to those. Focus on what you have, don't focus on what you don't. So that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned this past year. Another lesson that I've learned is the only way you can truly fail is if you don't try. And like, you can't be scared of putting yourself out there. You can't like keep yourself from chasing your dreams just because like you're not sure that you're gonna be perfect at it, or you're like, because I think like those perfectionists, with perfectionism specifically, I feel like you don't want to do anything. You don't want to like put anything out there like to be like perceived that you don't feel is like 100% perfect, because that's just like, it goes against like everything in your brain like screaming that things need to be perfect, because you don't want to put yourself in a position to get like criticized, is at least like how I've is like kind of how all like my internal thoughts have worked around perfectionism. So it's always made me really scared to like, try things and like take leaps of faith, and, you know, not worry about like what other people are going to think or whatever. So I think doing this podcast was a big part of me like letting go. And I'm not completely healed. I'm still a perfectionist, but I think like starting this podcast and letting it evolve, letting it start out kind of rocky, starting with no camera, starting with not knowing how to use the microphone. I had it, it just wasn't, it literally wasn't being used. It was just a prop. Starting just recording at my desk, and before even doing video, just doing audio, like I took like little baby steps to get better and better and better, but I didn't hold I didn't I didn't like hold off to start it until it was perfect, because then I would have never started it, because even now it's still not perfect. But it's something that I'm proud of. It's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I enjoy. And that's all that matters. So I think that's another big lesson that I've learned this year. Um, Kind of in that same thing is just like kind of like don't let the fear of being perceived as like cringe keep you from living your like happiest authentic life, because there's always going to be people who think you're cringe and like whatever, that's on them. Like there was this TikTok once that was like, you thought it was fun, or you thought it was cringe, I thought it was fun, and that's why I'm happier than you, or whatever, like that, something like that, in the sense that just like, one, you're not gonna be able to please everyone. Two, like you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. So sometimes, like, yeah, the things you are gonna be perceived to other people as cringe. But I think the people that like you speak to and that resonate with you won't think you're cringe. And at the end of the day, like all that really matters is that like you're happy, you're having fun, you're healthy, and just living your life to the fullest and as best as you can, and not and just you can't live for the sake of other people and because of what other people think. So that's the big thing that I had to learn. Again, kind of in that same like vein, people pleasing literally benefits no one. I feel like I've been a recovering people pleaser this year, and just really working on kind of like speaking my mind and standing up for myself. I feel like it's better to speak your mind and advocate for yourself than like make yourself uncomfortable for like the sake of others. I feel like you're actually like doing people a disservice by people pleasing, because like you're not being authentic, you're not um providing like the valuable thoughts that you have. You are potentially like building up resentment towards these people because you're like letting your needs take a back seat for the sake of other people, and maybe they don't even realize that that's what's happening. So you're building up a resentment against them and ruining a relationship with someone that you might um and you might really care about the relationship, because like you're afraid of conflict or whatever the case may be. Like you're people pleasing and therefore not having like a fully authentic relationship with that person, which is in turn hurting that relationship. So I just think overall, like people pleasing is not the move. I know it can feel really uncomfortable to go against that people pleasing nature, but um it is important. And I think once you practice the art of not people pleasing enough, that it doesn't feel as uncomfortable as it does in the beginning. So that as well. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to go into was like how I celebrated my birthday, because I had a lot of really like fun things planned around my birthday, because I really just wanted to make sure that I celebrated beginning my 27th year in the best way that I could. I feel like I was very excited about this year. I feel like I'm finally like comfortable in my skin. There's just something about being like 27, being in my late 20s, that just feels good. It feels like home somehow, and it just feels really good. So I'm very excited, and I'm so happy that I've just I took the time to really plan some great stuff for myself for this birthday, just to kind of keep the good vibes going for my birthday. So how I celebrated, the first thing I did, it was a couple days before my birthday, but I went to the Beyond the Blinds live show. Beyond the Blinds is a blind item podcast. It's hosted by Troy and Kelly. They are the I'm trying to think. I think they're like maybe the second podcast that I've ever listened to. I first discovered Fluently Forward, and then I had discovered Beyond the Blinds through her. So those were the first two podcasts that I've ever listened to, and I found them in a really dark time for myself, just where I was really lonely, and I just had a lot of like turmoil going on in my home life. And it was really like the only thing that just like kept me out of the pit and kept me just from like spiraling and being depressed and all those things. So um I love I've loved their podcast. I've been listening to it for, I think I found it probably like a little over 3 years ago. And I've just loved it ever since. So when I saw that they were coming to Orlando, I had to immediately cop those tickets. And it was so, I mean, it's a little bit of a seedy topic, but the topic that they were covering at the live show in Orlando was yachting. And so, yachting is a it's like Hollywood and like rich people's form of prostitution, kind of like for celebrities. And so, um, like a lot of celebrities, when they used to be on long running shows and things like that, and like now they like really don't work as much, but they're still like in the scene, and still have some money. Allegedly, a lot of the times that money can be coming from yachting, because there are some really rich people that allegedly would really like to be with these celebrities. So that being said, also just to kind of connect the two, it's alleged that Love Island and those dating shows like that are basically like a casting call for yachting, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of like meta, my two worlds colliding there. They also talk about people who allegedly participated in yachting, such as Zac Efron, Nina Dobrev, Addison Rae. Like, allegedly, everyone's yachting, and that it's a topic that Russell and I have like always, or like I kind of educated Russell on the topic of yachting. So it's just always so funny, because then like sometimes like he'll get like, he'll be like, oh, did you hear that like this person allegedly yachts? And I'm like, oh my god, like I just love that he's like getting into it too. So it's just kind of it's a topic that I talk about a lot and I'm very fascinated by. And so it was just kind of crazy that that was the topic that they were doing for the Orlando show. It just felt very full circle and fun. I really, it just felt like I was like meant to be there. So it was great. And then I had posted and tagged them on Instagram that I was at the show, and they had like reposted my story and like liked it, and I was like, oh my god, I was fangirling so hardcore. I love them. I think they're so fun, so cool. I love you, Troy and Kelly, if you're listening. I wish I had my love you so much. Thank you for coming to Orlando, and giving us a great and fun show. The next thing I did for my birthday, on my actual excuse me, on my actual birthday, I threw a casino themed party. So I baked my own cake. I had gotten little like bows and dice to put all over the cake. So that made it super fun and cute. The dice were like on little like toothpicks. So I also used them for like the charcuterie board, and like we stuck them in our little martinis and stuff like that. So that was really fun and cute. I'd hand painted uh casino chips. My friend Tessa helped me with painting the dice. So I had some help with getting decorated. We had like streamers hanging around everywhere. It was just like decked out, so much fun. And then we all played blackjack. We played some shot roulette. We played some other games. Danced to some great music, took a lot of cute pictures. So many people came that just made me feel so loved. And I never expect people to get me like especially my friends. Like I never expect my friends to get me gifts on my birthday. I just to me it's like I just want to like spend time with people, so like come to my party, whatever, let's have a good time. So I never expect people to bring gifts. So but like everyone brought me a gift, and it was literally so sweet because they were all so like thoughtful and just like so clearly like, because it's not like the gifts, but it's just like the fact that people like really knew me and like intentionally picked out like things that they knew I would like. I'm like literally tearing up. Like it made me feel so loved and seen, and um it just made me like really, see, I'm literally like crying. It just made me really grateful for like everyone that I have in my life, and um like I just feel like so rich in the relationships that I have and the life that I've built here in Orlando. And I think it's just so crazy. I literally moved here when I was 18 and I just never left. And I've just created like a little family here of just like beautiful friends that I love so much. And I'm just so thankful. And I'm also so thankful to Russell for helping me throw the party, and just helping me get everything set up and get all of the accoutrements and just being the best boyfriend ever. So it was great. It was so much fun. And I'm so thankful for everyone who came and just making it a night we won't forget. The next day I went to the pool with my big Sarah. She had came down for my party because she lives like a little like an hour and a half away. So I don't get to see her too often. So it was really nice for her to come down and spend the weekend with me. And we went to the pool the next day. We got a nice little tan, caught up because like when you're at a party, it's hard to get fully caught up with people. So it was nice to have the little one-on-one time with her and just get caught up on everything that's going on. And then yesterday I watched, it wasn't a full marathon, but I did a little half Twilight marathon because I watched Twilight and New Moon, and oh my god, I was just feeling so nostalgic. I was really like tearing up just like remembering the first time that I would watch Twilight. Literally, I think it was like elementary school. It wasn't elementary school. I was probably middle school. But in middle school, I remember, I think it was on Fridays, my neighbor that I was best friends with, me and her would hang out on Fridays and have a sleepover. And it was either Friday or Saturday, one weekend day. We'd have a sleepover, we'd get snacks, and we'd watch Twilight. And then I think she had like the Scene It. So sometimes we'd play like the Twilight Scene It. That's such a throwback, Scene It. Do you guys remember that? Um, so yeah, it was just like really just, I love to just do nostalgic shit. I'm like, you know how um Kim Kardashian says it's iconic, and I love to do iconic shit. I feel like for me it's like because it's nostalgic and I love to do nostalgic shit. Like it's just, it makes me just feel so warm and fuzzy. And I don't know, like I feel like that has, is that mental illness, like that I just like nostalgia is just everything to me. um but yeah, it was so I forget how funny Twilight is. So camp, and it's just amazing, and I just love it. And then so yeah, I watched Twilight, and then I watched New Moon. New Moon was crazy because I remember literally going to the midnight premiere of New Moon with, I think I went with my aunt Becky, and I remember I had a Team Jacob shirt, but because me and Sarah were watching Twilight together before I went to the pool yesterday, and she was like, "Were you Team Edward or Team Jacob?" And I was like, actually, I guess it depends because I guess technically I was Team Jacob, but more for myself. Like Bella can have Edward, be Team Edward, bitch. I'm Team Jacob for me, not for Bella. But I feel like now that I'm older, I'm definitely Team Edward. Or no, I'm not Team Edward. I'm Team Charlie. Now that I'm older, I'm Team Charlie. I think he's like so handsome and such a good dad, and I just love him. He's just such a sweet guy. And I'm always like, damn, like, how is he not like booed up right now? But I know I think he ends up getting with Sue Clearwater, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I can't remember, but I know he ends up getting with someone later. in the books, if I'm not mistaken, in the movies. So yeah, we love that for Charlie. But yeah, we love Charlie. Also love Carlisle. You know, now we're older, we like the dads. But yeah, I just Twilight has some of the best quotes, don't you think? It's just so funny. I don't think anything will ever top Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca? I just think that is one of the most iconic lines ever. And it actually made me laugh because I was thinking, like, you know what? That's kind of how I feel about 27 because I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, I feel really at home in 27. I'm kind of like, 27, where the hell have you been, Loca? That's so stupid, but that was the thought that I had last night. So maybe I'll make that the title of this episode. And last two things I'm doing to celebrate tonight when this podcast is being released, the day that this episode is released on Tuesday, I'm going to the Post Malone concert, so that's very exciting. I'm going with Tessa. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna party it up. And then on Friday, I'm going to the Luke Bryan concert with Lexi and her husband Jackson and one of our other friends, I think. So sorry, my necklace is all like wrapped up in my hair. Um, so that should be really exciting. I'm really excited about both because obviously I love Post Malone. I think that's gonna be a great time, and I've been listening to him forever. So it's also it's nostalgic, but it's also current. So that's fun. And then for Luke Bryan, I feel like I haven't really listened to him as much recently, but in high school I would always go to Luke Bryan or to the country concerts. I've seen Luke Bryan multiple times. I really do like his music. I really do. I think he's still like a good guy, and I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he seems like a generally good guy, so I think he's a safe artist to still like. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know if not. But I feel like I'm really nostalgic for his songs, and I just going to a country concert is gonna be so fun. I'm literally gonna wear the boots that I wore in high school to concerts, so it's gonna be a whole nostalgic trip down memory lane. So that's gonna be really exciting. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is kind of things I'm going to be doing to get my 27-year-old life together. I'm just really going to be focusing on, health, wellness, mental health, all those things like that. So, first off, the first thing I'm doing is I have a doctor's appointment today. Literally, I keep checking the time while I'm recording because I need to leave in like 20 minutes actually for my doctor's appointment. So, trying to get this wrapped up as quickly as I can. I'm not trying to rush, but also I do have a doctor's appointment after this. I also booked a dentist appointment for later in the month, and I also am gonna work on getting a dermatologist appointment scheduled. I need to make sure that I'm on top of everything, make sure that I'm healthy, and just as I'm getting older, it's very important to keep an eye on all things like that. So making sure I'm doing all of that. I made sure to I did take some time off around my birthday because I wanted to take some time to, one, get my shit together, and two, just do some self-care, relax a little bit, and just spend some time on myself. So over the next few days, I'm going to make sure that I, take a long bath with a hair mask and a face mask. I think I'm probably going to do that tonight and watch Eclipse in the bath. I shaved, I think, yesterday. For me personally, like, the feeling of like smooth legs just feels so good and nice, and it just feels so good to me. Like, I just feel refreshed. So I love to do that when I'm doing self-care. Do some nail maintenance. I did my nails for my birthday party. Look how cute. I don't know if you can see. Really just anything else I need to do to feel like refreshed and confident. maybe do some eyebrow tweezing, some dermaplaning, like whatever, but just get myself all refreshed and ready to go. Um, Next thing I want to do, like over these next couple of days, is just like organize and declutter my space. Um, it's just having a decluttered space really just helps keep my mind clear and calm. You know, the OCD storms do get a brewing when things are a little crazy in here. So it's nice to kind of just take some time and declutter and do things like that, just to kind of keep that weight off my brain as I move forward in the week. I also am gonna get some fresh, clean sheets on my bed and fresh towels. I try to do that every 2 weeks, so I'm due for that. And I just love the feeling of like shaved legs and like just out of the bath on nice clean sheets wrapped in a nice clean towel. Just feels so good. Next thing I'm doing also over the next couple days is locking down my budget for the year. Now that we've got the new puppy, I'm moving some things around. I just need to update my budget, keep on track of things, and just work towards my financial goals this year. I think my biggest thing is just get to where I want to be financially. I just need to put in a little work for that. In that same vein, I'm going to work on reducing my debt and things like that. I got myself into a little bit of a credit card pickle in college. And then afterwards, when I kind of got left with my pets, um, as a single mom for a little bit before I met Russell, that was really hard on the bank account. And I did rack up some debt then as well. So just really, again, focusing on my budget, being strict on that, and getting that debt taken care of will just kind of relieve some stress from me for sure. And then I definitely want to take some time to sunbathe. This year I think I definitely want to do that at least once a week. So I did it yesterday, but I think since I have a couple days off, hopefully I can find some time to just lay out for at least an hour, get a little bit more sun. I also want to continue like my walk / working out 5 times a week and just prioritizing movement in general. I've been doing bar. I'm pretty sure I said that last episode. So I think I'm gonna keep consistent with classes on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and then in between go on walks and stuff like that. Maybe hit the gym to do some like heavy weights in between somewhere. Still giving myself 2 rest days. I think that's really important. And I also am going to continue to prioritize fiber, protein, and color. Just making sure that I am taking care of myself, making sure I'm getting all the nutrients I need, keeping things moving down there, and eating my protein so I'm big and strong. And then the last thing is just, obviously I'm spending some time with people over these next couple of days of my days off. And then I just want to kind of keep that throughout the year as well, just making sure to stay close and connected to the people I love. I think that's really important to me as well for this year. So that's kind of the things that I'm going to be doing to get my 27-year-old shit together this year. And yeah, I'm really excited for what's in store for this year. All right. Well, let's do our daily affirmation for today. You are magic. Own that shit. And I love that. I think that's perfect. We are magic. Let's own that shit. Let's kill it. Let's go get this year. Let's do it. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode. So please comment, DM me, email me, whatever way you want to get in contact with me. If you have anything you want to share. If you're liking the pod, please follow and leave a rating on Spotify or subscribe and like on YouTube. Don't forget to listen to new episodes every Tuesday on Spotify and YouTube. Lastly, please DM me stories or email them to gabandglowpodcast@gmail.com. I'm always looking for stories like worst dates, worst breakups, family drama, crazy exes, honestly, any crazy lore, drop it to me to be read on the pod. anonymously. I get so many spam calls. Oh my god, I've gotten like 3 since we started recording. That's crazy. All right. Well, happy birthday, Gab and Glow. And I'm so excited for 27. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported us over this last year, and I'm so excited for what's to come. Thanks for gabbing with me, and don't forget to keep on glowing. Bye.